Bonjour mes amis. Cette fois, nous allons parler des vacances. This time I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, vacation. And what better place for vacation than France? So, there you have it.
La mer.
France, a country of culture, beauty, and peace. It's always been the perfect place to take a holiday. Not anymore.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back.
He's back. Smarter. Cooler. And faster. Mr. Bean's holiday. France doesn't stand a chance.
Mr. Bean's holiday in France. If you do not know Mr. Bean, he's played by British actor Rowan Atkinson in a BBC TV series. And before that, Rowan Atkinson starred in an older BBC series called Blackadder with Hugh Laurie, the actor that developed what everyone knows as Dr. House. Anyway, let's get back to vacation travel. And before we get too far into that, we need to understand the verb voyager. Voyageur is ER verb. Voyageur is an ER verb, like the ones you've learned. Aimer, adorer, détester, and travailler. For example, but voyager has one small difference. Because it ends on ger, G-E-R, it gets a spelling change in the we form of the verb. To understand this, let's take a look at the verb manger, to eat, which also ends on ger.
Verbe. Manger. Mode. Indicatif. Temps. Présent. Je mange. Tu manges. Il mange. Nous mangeons. Vous mangez. Il mange.
Did you notice that in the nouns from the verb, we add an E in front of the usual ons ending? We don't usually do that, but in French, the letter G makes two sounds, one hard and one soft. When G comes before the vowels A, O, and U, as in gare, station, go, and Guadeloupe. When G comes before the vowels I and E, it's a soft G, as is gilet, veste, and général. So unless we want to pronounce mangeons, mangon, we need to add an E after the G to make it soft and get mangeons. And since voyager has the same G-E-R, je ending, the same happens when we get to do the nouns form. So, je voyage, tu voyages, il voyage, elle voyage. Nous voyagerons, vous voyagez, and il, elle voyage. So now that we know how the verb the voyager works, let's go back to Mr. Bean's voyage and ask some questions. First, comment est-ce qu'il voyage? Comment est-ce qu'il voyage? How does he travel? We're going to see another clip of Mr. Bean's vacation, but before we do that, pause the video and go to your online textbook, Chapter 3, Liste de vocabulaire, and scroll down to les transports, means of transport. Then watch the Mr. Bean video and see how many different modes of transport he used in the clip. So you can answer the question. Comment est-ce qu'il voyage? Comment est-ce qu'il
La mer,
France, a country of culture, beauty, and peace. It's always been the perfect place to take a holiday. Not anymore.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back.
He's back,
My face. I just walked in the back.
smarter,
With that bad look on your face. I should have changed it. You could lock, should have made it.
cooler,
Just 1 second, you'll be back for
and
the
faster. Mr. Bean's holiday. France doesn't stand a chance.
voyage? So in your textbook you have phrases like en avion, by plane, en bateau, by boat, en train, by train, en car, by tour bus, en voiture, by car, en métro, by metro, en bus, by bus, en taxi, by taxi, à moto, by motorcycle, à vélo, by bicycle, and à pied, on foot. Which of these does Mr. Bean use, or comment est-ce qu'il voyage? Comment est-ce qu'il voyage? I will get you started with one answer and you give the rest. Monsieur Bean voyage en train. Monsieur Bean voyage en train. Okay, pause the video now. Use my sentence as a model and you do the rest. Go ahead. So how did you do it? Did you come up with Mr. Bean voyage en train, Mr. Bean voyage à vélo, Mr. Bean voyage à pied, Mr. Bean voyage en voiture? Great. Now let's talk about you. How do you like to travel? Use your vocab list from chapter 3, Les Transports, and say how you like to travel. I'll give you my answers first, and then you can pause the video and answer for yourself. Je n'aime pas voyager en avion. Je n'aime pas voyager en avion. J'aime voyager en bateau. J'aime voyager en bateau. J'adore voyager en train. J'adore voyager en train. Je n'aime pas voyager en car. Je n'aime pas voyager en car. J'aime voyager en voiture. J'aime voyager en voiture. J'aime voyager en métro. J'aime voyager en métro. Je n'aime pas voyager en bus. Je n'aime pas voyager en bus. J'aime voyager en taxi. J'aime voyager en taxi. J'adore voyager à moto. J'adore voyager à moto. J'aime voyager à vélo. J'aime voyager à vélo. J'aime voyager à pied. J'aime voyager à pied. Et toi? What about you? Pause the video and answer. Okay, now that we know how we would like to travel, let's find out the answer to another question. Où est-ce que tu aimes voyager? First, let's hear from Stephanie, a French woman, about where she likes to spend her vacation, or as the French sometimes call it, les grandes vacances. Les grandes vacances. Click on the link below marker Les Grandes Vacances, which will take to Stephanie's description of her vacations. As usual, you can switch between English and French versions of the transcription by using the buttons below the text. Pause this video and go ahead to Stephanie's description of Les Grandes vacances. So before we get to your vacation, what exactly are les grandes vacances? Well, in France and in most of Europe, les grandes vacances take place around the month of August, and it's a bit longer than the vacation we usually take in the United States. Take a look, for example, as how many weeks vacation America typically have, depending on the years of experience on the job. Now, compare that to the numbers of the weeks French people typically have. You can see in this chart that at least the least amount of vacation French people usually have is about 4 weeks. And this is only increases the more years on the job. As most people tend to take this vacation around the same time, in the month of August and the beginning of September. So Stephanie is one of the lucky French people with long vacation, les grandes vacances. One of the places she likes to go is à la plage, to the beach. You already answered the question, comment est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Now answer the question, où est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Where you like to travel? Nancy gave us one destination, à la plage, to the beach. Here's a few more. À la campagne, to the countryside. À la forêt, to the forest, woods. And à la montagne, to the mountains. I'll give you my answer first, and then you do the same. Je n'aime pas voyager à la plage. J'aime voyager à la campagne. J'aime voyager à la forêt. J'adore voyager à la montagne. Et toi? Pause now and give your answers. Okay, and finally, now that we know how you like to travel, where you like to travel, let's answer one more question. Quand est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Quand est-ce que tu aimes voyager? When you like to travel. To answer this, let's take a look at les saisons, the seasons. You can see les saisons, the seasons, in your audio textbook in chapter 3, liste de vocabulaire, les saisons. But when we talk about doing things in these seasons, we say then this way, au printemps, in the spring, en été, in the summer, en automne, in the autumn, en hiver, in the winter. So, quand est-ce que tu aimes voyager? I'll give my answers first, and then you pause and do the same. J'aime voyager au printemps. J'aime voyager en été. J'aime voyager en automne. J'aime voyager en hiver. Because j'adore voyager, I love to travel, so anytime it's okay with me. But how about you? Pause the video and give your answers. So, how did you do with these 3 questions? Comment est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Comment est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Où est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Où est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Et quand est-ce que tu aimes voyager? Quand est-ce que tu aimes voyager? If you have any questions still, watch this segment again and see chapter 3 of your online textbook. Otherwise, that is it for this segment. À la prochaine.